s1e5 and I saw Wednesday, Season 1, Episode 5, You Reap What You Woe. It is directed by Gomez Montero, written by April Blair. If you haven't seen this episode, I will spoil it for you. Time and temperature check. It is 5 p.m., 80 degrees, 40% humidity. On with the review. It's Parents Weekend. And guess who's here? Morticia, Gomez, we got Pugsley is here. They're all visiting Wednesday. We got the sheriff who sees Gomez and he's like, I hate him. I wish he was arrested. I know he did the murder. And then meanwhile, we got Morticia. She's reminiscing, having a good old time talking to the dean. It turns out that the dean is acting very unfamiliar with Morticia, even though Morticia is acting very familiar. The dean's like, yeah, I remember that, yeah. But Wednesday, she's got those looking eyes. She's very observant and she's very vicious and she's like very sus. She's looking into her and she's like, oh my goodness, I've got it, you're a shapeshifter. You shapeshift. The chick that Morticia was friends with died a long time ago and you took her place and you are here. Also, that explains Rowan. Rowan is actually dead, but you shapeshifted because you needed to keep appearances. And she's like, oh, I did it for the good. And I like Wednesday, she's like, well, that's because people who are evil, they decide to do things because for the good. But these are actually just very evil things that you're doing. You're covering up a murder. You're covering up the truth of a murder. The sheriff is looking into the corner. He done did a pew. He shot himself. And the sheriff looks into this written statement. Yeah, I had to cover up the evidence of this murder. I feel so terrible, it's so bad, and it implicates Gomez so neatly. And then we got the sheriff's like, you're under arrest, Gomez. But right before this, Wednesday's like, you done did a murder. What did you do? And Morticia is like all emotional. She's like, stop it, stop it. And I noticed her emotionality. I'm like, that's strange. Why is she acting so emotional? Did you commit a murder? And Gomez cleaned it up for, yes, actually, that is exactly what happened. She's like, what did you do? What did you do? And he's like, well, here's the full truth. There's this guy who's very obsessed and you know what happened? He was loving your mother to like a loving, too obsessive degree. And I was with your mother at the time and he was like, going at her all rabid, just going at her violently. And he tells the story where he stabs him through the chest, but it was actually Morticia when Morticia is confronted by Wednesday and being like, yo, tell me now. And also, it's fun. Wednesday's like, he was rabid. You're describing the symptoms, how he looked? He was rabid. We gotta go through his grave, and then he goes to the grave and they get caught with they get caught grave digging and they have to go to jail, but they have like a piece, a limb piece. They took a piece of the limb in typical Addams Family manner and it's all blued out and it's like, oh, this is like veil with like blue juice. Blue thing was supposed to kill all the Nevermore people. But because Gomez got into the fight that night, he was able to save everybody. I like how Morticia and Wednesday go to the sheriff, but he's like higher up now. And Morticia's like, I tried to tell you about the stalking, but you did nothing. And everybody's in a bind. Everybody's in like a big old twist. And so in order to unbind, they have to drop all the charges. And that's how Wednesday is able to get them out of jail. I'm like, wow, this series spends the proper amount of time needed for me to be convinced that Wednesday did find a way to get them out of jail, because like it's very like step by step. I love it's like Dexter style thoughts that she has with the narration and like she explains her thought process. I love that. It's a great framing and it also helps like explain her thought process. So I see where the connective tissue is. Ultimately though, it's a good, fun episode. Especially since there's a bonding moment. Wednesday shows concern for Eugene. There's a bonding moment between her and Morticia when Wednesday's like, I've been having these visions. And Morticia's like, well, since I have more positive visions, that makes me a dove, but you have to connect with the people in the afterlife. You have to connect with them in order for them to teach you how to deal with the visions. You have to connect with your past ancestor. You're a raven because you have more like a negative vibe about you. And she's like, okay, cool, I have information now. Ultimately, everyone just wants to cover up everything. Oh, let's cover up all the bad that happened because it would damage the reputation of the school. By covering it up, damages the reputation of the school eventually when it comes out. You gotta think about that. There's a moment where Wednesday disappoints Tyler. Wednesday keeps giving the cold shoulder, just like being so engrossed in her stuff, and Tyler's like, I'm trying to connect with you. Yeah. That heartfelt letter, now this, I don't understand women. I was like, that was the Thing's doing. The Thing knows what's best for Wednesday. The Thing really is looking out for her. And I do appreciate that she is more respectful of the Thing, which is good. She's developing as a character, and I like this a lot. I'm excited to see how she further develops. And I like how there's like a genuine moment between both of their parents. Like, she calls her father a good father because he gave her all the necessary tools to deal with this terrible world that they all live in, which is very sweet. And then she has a genuine moment with Morticia, which is also pretty dang sweet. And they open up to each other, and it's very nice. Like, the parents just trying to connect with the child, and the teenager's usually like, I hate my parents. But once eventually they open up to each other, they realize, oh, we have similar things in common. It's like, yeah, you guys are like genetically related. What a brilliant concept. Parents are genetically related to their children? They have to be birth relation, not adoption, whatever. Anyway, I like this. It's a good series. I'm excited for more. I gotta give it, this episode is particularly good, so I'm gonna give it's an 8 out of 10. If you like this review, watch another one. The platform really likes that. If I haven't reviewed on the channel, there's a chance I haven't seen it at all. That's why I got to get the Patreon request at patreon.com/ASEPresents. $20 dinos for 1 movie review for 1 month. Support the daily grindiness by going to this link tree so you can go here. And until next time, Mint Salad. I'll see you later. My sacrutons and big bits. Goodbye.